Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing your congratulations and all the warm, fuzzy feelings for hitting the 25,000 subscriber mark. I am so excited. I think by the time this video goes live, I might be at 26,000 subscribers. So thank you for sharing with your friends and letting YouTube know that you're getting value and they can keep recommending it. So today I am going over the questions that were asked as part of the call for questions for this Ask Me Anything video. So let's just get right into it. Hi, I'm Mary Kate, or MK Williams. I'm an author and I love sharing my insights about all things books and publishing with you. Before I get into answering everybody's questions today, don't forget to hit subscribe. You'll be notified every week as I put out new videos on publishing, make a career of being an author, and of being a mompreneur. So of the questions that were asked, I'm going to try to answer all of them. So this may be a bit of a longer video. I'm going to have chapters down below so you can just skip to something if you feel it's relevant to you. I will also be announcing the winners at the end. So part of the call for questions when we celebrated 25,000 subscribers, we're going to do an Ask Me Anything was those who participated and submitted questions to be answered. We're going to be entered to win one of three one-on-one calls with me. It'll be 30 minutes each. So stay tuned to the end so you can see who won. So our first question is asking about they have a trilogy. The first book has been self-published. They want to maybe do traditional publishing for book two. Is that possible? What are the suggestions? So in general, what I have heard and what my agent has even advised me on is that if you have started the series as self-published, it is unlikely to get picked up to be traditionally published. There are exceptions to this rule. But in general, if it's especially you have to read them in order, it's very unlikely unless the first book is such a runaway success that it's catching the attention of agents and of publishers. But for the most part, if you've already self-published book one, you would have to continue to self-publish the rest of the series. And then you would maybe go and seek an agent for a new book in a new series or a standalone book. So when I was talking with my agent for when I was querying her for the book that would become this one, Heifer, Janice, that was a question. I said, okay, I have self-published books. Is there any potential we can, get those picked up for translation rights to have other things happen? So her first advice to me was, okay, we're going to focus on the book that we queried. That's the one we like. We want to focus on the new things that's going to come next. She's like, and then yes, if things are really successful, like we can focus on that. But the first things first was to get the new book that was being queried out on submission. So I would say, hopefully you're the unicorn. Hopefully you're one of the magical people who is going to have that runaway success where like publishers can't ignore you. But most likely they're going to say no and pass on the first book in the series if it's already been self-published. Sorry. Okay, so the next question was about a book that is very long. Okay, so this author says that their book that they've created, it's almost 6,000 pages. That is a doorstopper. That is a brick. That is a step stool potentially to stand on. So the question was if they want to break it up into sections, like part one, part two, part three. I definitely suggest doing that. I actually think you're going to run into page limitations even at 1,000 pages each with some of the self-publishing print-on-demand services. But would I need a separate ISBN for each section or one for the complete set? So yes, if you're breaking this 6,000 page tome into six 1,000 page books, then you need six ISBNs per book. So part one, if it's an ebook, paperback, hardcover, that's three ISBNs for part one, three for part two, three for part three, et cetera, et cetera. So I would definitely suggest breaking it up. And also, if your audience likes to read that much content, that's great. Know your audience. There are some genres that do very well with very large, long books. Like that is what that audience wants. There's some audiences that don't love that. So I would even consider, does it need to be this long? Are there some things you can trim down on? Or because it is now going to be broken up into six pieces, are there things that need to be reiterated in case somebody just picks up in the middle of the series? So just keep that in mind. Okay, so this next question is about, is paid advertising worth it without a backlist? Would you recommend waiting until an author had published more than one book before doing an ad campaign? If so, what's a sweet spot? So I have a very interesting relationship with paid advertising. So my day job, my corporate day job when I was still working was in marketing and advertising. So I would see just like sticker shock myself for how much money we were spending on branding and Facebook ads and other social media ads for a company that had big name recognition, like it would just boggle my mind. And so when I was starting out, I did not have the budget for paid advertising, right? I was hustling as much as I could without paid advertising. I've tried paid advertising in two instances, actually three. So I tried Amazon ads by myself. They did not go well. And I think it was that I did not have the patience to be drilling down every day and to effectively see my money go bye bye, to learn what did or didn't work, especially because it was just a first book in a series, right? So the the advice out there is you finish the series, the first book you lower the price on, and then you market book one, right? Because you're hoping for the read through for the whole series. And so I tried BookBub paid ads. They were inexpensive. I also didn't find that they were as effective. Part of it is so you're going from a party site of BookBub to click them through to Amazon or Google Play or Apple, and then they have to click from there. So every time you add a click, you lose people in the process. And I also couldn't see that direct, like, did somebody buy? Did they not? Based on the reporting. So I didn't love it. And then I paid somebody to handle my paid advertising. Now, this was for my nonfiction books. Um, Going into it, I said, okay, like I'm hiring a professional. This person who's going to drill into the data and loves the data is going to look at it for me. And so I looked at my preceding 3 months of sales, so I would understand the true delta, knowing that maybe not every sale gets captured on the Amazon ads dashboard, to really understand, like, okay, I'm getting on average this many sales a day. Now I'm getting on average this many sales a day for these books. Great. I know my difference is here because these books were selling very well. When we turned on the paid ads with Amazon, and I did a video on this, all of my organic sales flatlined. Like the only difference between the day before they turned on and the day when all of my sales just flatlined, like literally went to zero, was that I turned on Amazon ads. All of my organic juice was just like gone. I don't know if that's always the case, but it was the case for me and I really didn't like it. So turned those off. I I wanted to be patient and like see the results and see the data. Now also those were my nonfiction books. They're in very competitive keywords. It's always a little different. I think one thing that I would suggest if you want to advertise now without book two and book three out there is to make use of like the Fussy Librarian or Written Word Media newsletters. Um, they may ask to say, like, oh, is this a freebie? Is this a 99-cent ebook? So you may have to do a temporary price drop on it. But I think they're low cost compared to when you compare it to a full month cost of running Amazon ads or BookBub ads and how expensive those can get. Like these newsletter insertions have a flat, like the top that you're going to be paying. And I think that's a great way to introduce new people. And then obviously, yes, once book two and book three come out and you decide to make book one either permanently at a low price or temporarily at a low price, you're going to have to for accounting, look at the cost of advertising across the whole series because you're trying to get the read through. I hope that this has been helpful. I think it can be beneficial. I think it also depends on how much you can stomach as an author for your budget. I know some authors were like, nope, margins are too thin. I cannot invest in that and like hope the marketing works out or hope that I got the right copy for it. I know some people who say I have to keep running the ads, otherwise I don't think my ads are gonna or my books are gonna keep selling. So it's a very personal decision. My thoughts are I would probably sell a lot more if I was really focusing on paid ads more, but I have been burned in the past and I would rather continue to grow organically much slower than flush money down the toilet and see all my sales flatline again. Next question. Okay, so this question was, how much was your upfront payment to be a traditionally published author? Are you ready? Ready for this? Zero. $0. You do not pay to be traditionally published. So in self-publishing, I had to front everything, right? Like I had to pay designers, I had to pay formatters, or I had to learn how to do it and DIY it myself. In self-publishing, you pay for everything up front, right? But then all the revenue goes to you. With traditional publishing, I did not pay my agent a dollar um, until my book contract came through and she took her cut. I did not have to pay my publisher anything. They sent me copies of the book. Like, you don't pay to be traditionally published. And anybody who's saying, I'm a reputable traditional publisher, here's how much you owe me, run the other direction. So there's hybrid publishing, and that is where maybe you're splitting the cost with the publisher. Some are reputable. I would say more often than not, they're not. And I would say if you are looking for a one-stop shop. Like, I want to self-publish, I want to retain all my rights, but I want somebody else to project manage it for me and do all that. There's book launchers. There are other services that are reputable where you can do that, but you're still self-publishing. I don't love the vanity presses who say, I'm a traditional publisher. You're signing your rights for your book over to me. Oh, and you owe me thousands of dollars. That's not traditional publishing. That's a vanity press, and you should run the other direction. So I did not pay anything to be a traditionally published author. No, I actually am going to have a video coming out soon about my experience. The only things I paid for were a subscription to Query Tracker Premium, so I could just see better data and stats on which agents were responsive and not. That was totally optional. I did work with a query coach. I really refined my query packet, and I felt like it was getting hits, but it wasn't obviously getting me an agent. So I decided to elect to work with a query coach. But that was all elective. My agent didn't ask me for any money. My publisher didn't ask me for any money. Like, it, when I signed with my agent, it was outlined she gets a certain percentage of every sale, but she does not get paid till she makes a sale. So that is her incentive to sell my books. She gets a cut. All right, so the next question is, do you have a recommendation for publishing a vision casting journal with spiral binding? KDP and Ingram Spark do not do spiral binding. That's correct. So I would say the option you're looking for, anytime there's like a special binding or special color paper or high premium paper, I usually recommend Lulu. The thing is, they do have spiral binding, I believe, and they have different options. The thing is, all of those options are not always available for their global distribution to Amazon, to Barnes and Noble, etc. Some you may just be able to do print on demand and ship them to yourself to then sell on your website. They do have integrations with Shopify, I believe. So that can be a way for you to sell those books direct from Lulu. But it looks like it's coming directly from you. Okay, next question is, I'm a first-time author. I did an ebook format. I have a website where I'll be selling my ebook on. The payment system is through Stripe. Would you suggest registering as an individual or set up as a business? I think that's a larger question of if you need to set up as a business in general. So I believe with Stripe, you can have an individual account, you can have a business account. I don't believe there's much of a difference in how you are charged any fees. I would say registering as a business, you need to understand the requirements in your county, in your state, and in your country. For if you're registered as a business, what fees do you need to pay? What taxes do you need to pay overall based on the income you're making as an author for your author business? And then decide, okay, I'm going to be registered as an LLC. I'm going to be registered as an S Corp. Therefore, all my business accounts need to reflect that. I think that's a larger question. But I would say if you're a first time author, register as an individual if you don't have any income yet, see how it goes over a few years, and then you can switch over. I started out just as an individual owner, and then I did not form as an LLC for 3 years, and then I was able to get everything done. So this next question is, do you have any tips for deciding the mood feel of your book for marketing purposes and picking which aspects to focus on, especially if the book is in one genre but it has a B plot of another genre? So I would say in this case, know the platforms and know your audience. So if your book is a mystery, but there is a romance subplot, lean into the fact that it's a mystery if that's the majority of it. So there's certain tropes and expectations with each genre. And as long as you're meeting everything for the main plot point, the main genre, focus there. I think, like in this example, if it's a mystery, but there's a romance subplot, if you start to market it as a romance, people who like romance might read it and be like, this is not what I'm used to because this is a B subplot. I think you can still point that out so you can find the right reader, right? Like mystery is such a big genre in this example. So you get people who maybe enjoy that there's a romantic subplot. There's probably people who are like, nope, I just want to know all the facts and all the clues and all the red herrings. But I don't want any of the romance. So I think it's good to highlight both because then you're going to find the right reader who likes both. And that's a little tough. I wouldn't lean too much into the B plot genre unless it is a capital bolded B plot, and that it's very significant there. Because if people who like that genre read the book, if they're going to be disappointed, I think you as the author know, like, yeah, like if I like to just read this secondary genre, if I read this book, I wouldn't necessarily think it's there. So play into both, and also see what the reactions are. Maybe you get a lot of positive feedback promoting the B plot on Instagram, on Book Talk, etc. But then the reviews come back and it's, okay, I found this on Bookstagram, I found this on Book Talk, and this was not what I thought it was. And okay, the marketing's working, but it's not getting the right readers. You want to get the right readers in front of the book. So I would focus on the A plot and the A genre, and then let people know, like, oh, and there's also this cute little romance in there. Like, I've read several books where it's a mystery, it's suspenseful. Of course, there's like the romantic B plot, but that was not at all in the marketing, and I still enjoyed the book, and I was able to find a book that I enjoyed just fine. So the final question is, as a first-time self-publishing author under a pseudonym, how should I tackle the hurdle as far as marketing on social media? I've created a profile as my main character, but haven't started posting yet. So this is an interesting one. And so I'll give a few things here. So I have one social media identity on Instagram. It's my author one. I don't have a separate personal one. So I just don't post as many personal things on my Instagram that I feel like I don't want to share. I have a separate Facebook, like, personal page, and then an author page on Facebook. And then that's really the only platform where I have differentiated, because I don't post on my author Facebook a lot because I just don't post on Facebook a lot. So I'd say you have to have a strategy going in to knowing what you're going to do. If this is truly going to be, hey, this is my pen name, I don't want my personal work stuff, whatever, to see my pen name for whatever reason. Okay, yeah, make sure you're not friending all your personal friends then on that platform. Make sure you're really trying to connect with the readers and the authors in your genre on there. I would say it should be as the pseudonym, as your pen name, versus the character name, because you may write books outside of that character. And then it's a question of, like, the characters posting versus, but, like, are they posting, like, by the book that I'm in? So it's almost too far down the rabbit hole. I did create a profile for Peter and Ursula, who are my main characters in Interview with a Van Lifer, but that's because they mentioned their social media, and I thought it would be really cool and silly if people who read this novella, like, were like, "Huh, I wonder if that's really a thing," and they went and they saw, like, it was real, like, are these vampires for real? But I don't maintain it, and that's probably not the best thing. So I would say, if you're going to go so far as, like, I have a social media account for my characters, like, make sure you have content planned for that, versus if it's, hey, this is my pen name, I write these kind of books, here's the first book coming out, here's another book coming out. I think that's a bit more flexible for you, if you don't want to keep writing about the same characters. These were all fantastic questions, and I want you to know that I answer as many questions as I can in the comments, and sometimes I will actually use those comments to inspire future videos, so keep asking questions. I don't know when I'll do another Ask Me Anything video, but if it's popular, maybe I'll do it again soon, at the very least when we hit 50,000 subscribers. But now it is time to announce the winners. So these three individuals, I'll comment on their comments like, hey, be sure to check it out, you won. But these three individuals, I'll have you reach out to me so we can coordinate and schedule a time. But the three people who are going to each get a 30-minute one-on-one session with me are Overdressed and Under Budget 8342, Meredith Cajun, and SJ Masiello, or SJM Asiello. I don't know. Initials, full last name, but I'm excited to chat with you and learn how to pronounce your username on YouTube. So congratulations, yay! Thank you all for celebrating this milestone with me. I literally could not have done it without all of you, so thank you, and stay tuned for future videos. If you found this helpful, if you won, if you're happy your question got answered, give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and maybe the shiny new thanks button. That tells YouTube you got value from this information, and then they can get it in front of other authors like us. Now you can get back to writing your book.